Alright guys, so welcome back to Gamer Today. Today we're going to be talking about Sword Fight and particularly the Infinity Blade, which is now back for Sword Fight. So if you guys have ever played with the Infinity Blade, you know that this thing is epic. It was taken out of the game because it broke the game, that's how crazy it was. But it's a lot of fun and a lot of people did miss it at the same time. Maybe not for the real mode of the game, but it's a lot of fun to see Darth Vader or like Star Wars coming at you. It's hilarious. And it's very eerie hearing that blade sound. It's like, Star Wars aside, a lot of people don't really care for the blade even in this particular mode. A lot of people get frustrated when they die from it. Here's a good example.
Sword is so annoying.
Exactly. But the point of the matter is, it's still a regular game of basically, you know, squads, if you will. So you still got to get your regular kills until you end up finding the legendary sword, the Infinity Blade. But don't get discouraged, guys. If you have not found the blade yet, by the end game you'll find plenty of blades. Just kill someone who has a blade, then you'll get one. It's not too bad. And the sword itself is pretty cool because you can go through a lot of buildings like nothing, like butter. And when someone else is coming at you with this sword, it is totally frustrating because they will tear you apart if you're not prepared for it. And don't forget, guys, with the Infinity Blade you cannot carry anything else, so once you pick it up all your other items will drop, so it's either the sword or nothing. The sword also helps you regain health, and over time you can get a lot more health than someone who does not have a sword, so keep that in mind. It's a bit of a trade-off, and yes, if you do drop the sword for any reason to pick up a gun, you will lose basically the health that you gained from the sword. So basically if you were starting at a low health and got more health from the sword, yeah, you'll go back to what you had. Anyways, beside the point of that, the sword is amazing because you can do a lot of damage and it's very fast and very cool to use, and it's just awesome and fun. It's a bit tricky though, I will admit. For me it's tricky. With someone with a sniper rifle, for instance, could easily tear someone apart who has a sword. So if you do come across someone with a sniper, try to stay far away, because they're going to do some great damage, but going through buildings and just being Superman is pretty darn cool. And another great thing about Sword Fight mode is basically there's a lot more chance for legendary and epic weapons, so you should have no problem trying to get someone down with a sword. It shouldn't be too unfair, although the sword is very overpowered. Again, that's the reason it's not in the game officially, technically, you know what I mean. But yeah, the sword is totally cool, and even traps and stuff, you can't pick them up. So you have to make a choice, sword or nothing. That's how OP this sword is. If you pick it up, you cannot have anything else. A trap, wood, nothing, materials, can't have it. It's gotta be just the sword, yeah? So you gotta be your epic ninja self, or your, you know, I don't know, Jedi self, if you will. Anyways, so slicing up opponents is totally fun. One thing you don't want to do is double jump too soon, because if you do, you see what happens. You do this little tiny jump, and then someone's like, hey, this guy doesn't know how to use this sword, he shoots you down. And that's what happened to me. But yeah, so the sword is definitely a welcome, you know, mode to the game. I do like it quite a bit. I know a lot of you guys are very hyped up about it right now, because it's fun, and it doesn't come around too often. The sword is definitely fun. I think it's eerie as can be when you hear those sound effects from that sword from a distance, and I've seen some cool jumps that people do with this sword. I'm not very good at this sword, because I never even played with the sword when it first came into the game. The Infinity Blade was introduced to the game for a very short period of time as it broke the game, and I stopped playing the game around that time, and I never actually got a chance to use one myself. So it's kind of cool to actually have that mode back in the game now, just for Fortnite history's sake, and to get a chance to actually see something that was once in the game that I couldn't see anywhere else. And as far as I know, it's still not in creative mode, at least not yet. I don't think they have any plans to make it in creative mode, so this is the only way to really enjoy it. And I think it's pretty cool. I really do think they should put it in creative mode, because the sword, the obviously Infinity Blade, would be pretty darn cool to just play around breaking things in creative, at least, bare minimum. But either way, it'd be really cool to see what people can come up with this. And don't forget, guys, if you're out in the open with the Infinity Blade, you are as good as dead for the most part. I mean, you can maneuver faster than the average player, don't forget, you still can be sniped out. You can be shot down from a distance, and your sword only has a limited amount of range, although you do regain health. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the Infinity Blade and the Sword Fight. I recommend Sword Fight for anyone who's just looking to play around and get a breakaway from the main game, and of course it's cool to have the Infinity Blade, so everyone should check it out. Anyways, guys, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to give it a comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of the Infinity Blade and Sword Fight.